Buckle up, excellence junkies, because this podcast is definitely for you. Welcome to Rocket Fuel. Do you wish that you could surround yourself with people that love to kick ass just like you? Well, come to my party, baby, and meet some of the brightest stars in the entrepreneurial galaxy, because it is my mission to give these entrepreneurs a platform to declare what they are on this planet to accomplish and to show you why they are rocket fuel. Hello, my Rocketeers. Oh, this is a hot topic today. For those of you that are entrepreneurs, we are here to tell you that not paying yourself is not a badge of honor. It is not a badge of honor. And this is a hard topic to discuss, but we have the prima expert here to talk about it, Danielle Mulvey. She is the host of the Profit First Nation podcast. She is a partner with, tell us,
with the author of Profit First, Mike Michalowicz.
Yes. And really the concept of Profit First has been transformational for your life. Danielle has multiple businesses making over $50 million in revenue. And she just knows how much that transforming this concept in your mind can be completely transformational for your life, for your business, for your family, right? So thank you so much, Danielle, for joining us. Tell us a little bit about, Profit First. First of all, what is it? Mm-hmm. And then we're going to kind of go back to why this is even related to paying yourself.
Sure. So Profit First is a do-it-yourself cash management system. It does not replace your bookkeeping or accounting. It doesn't replace QuickBooks, Xero, or whatever accounting platform that you're doing. Aww. But what Profit First does is it allows you to see the cash in your business and make decisions based off of the cash in your business, using, your current natural behaviors, but setting you up for success in using those behaviors. So I'm excited to dive in. But I just want to kind of throw out one statistic, and that is that according to a study by U.S. Bank Small Business, 83% of small businesses operate check to check, meaning when money comes in, the money's gone in a flash. It goes to pay vendors. It goes to pay employees. So operating check to check means the money comes in and goes out in a flash. So if you're operating like that, you're a normal business. You're like the majority of entrepreneurs, the 83% of entrepreneurs who are also likely operating their business out of one business checking account. And so, you get paid by a client, you look at your balance and you say, oh, we've got money to spend. And what do? You spend the money. So we're going to talk today about how you can transform yourself from being one of those 83% of small businesses. And let's be honest, the majority of small businesses sadly fail, collapse, close within 5 years of being in business. So we want to get you to that 17% side where you actually have cash in the bank to correlate to your profitability. And that's what Profit First does for you. Yeah.
I know. So many business owners are listening right now saying, that's nice. That's nice that you could talk about that. So, okay, so I want to talk about cash management system, right? Mm-hmm. So immediately, I know that long ago, I probably would have broken out into a rash, thinking about like cash management is like, oh, I don't want to get into the accounting of my business and the financing and such. But bottom line is, I mean, we're running a business, so we need to. But is this a complicated process? Like, do you need some sort of at least finance, accounting, math background to understand it?
No, there's just a couple of things. You just need to know the difference between spending and saving. So I think we all kind of understand that concept. You need to know fifth grade math. So you don't have to
Okay.
have an accounting degree. You don't have had to even taken a bookkeeping class. You don't need to know bookkeeping. You need to know fifth grade math, which I think
Mhm.
everyone qualifies for knowing fifth grade math. Um, and then the final thing that you have to do is that you have to go with the logic and trust the process and trust the system. Because the funny
Mm.
thing is, another statistics to throw at you is that when it comes to money, for most people, it's 10% logic and 90% emotion. So,
Yeah.
when you talk about getting hives, when you talk about wanting to bury your head in the sand when it comes to the financials of your business, when you talk about like even paying yourself or making profit. I mean, oh my gosh, isn't profit a dirty word? No, it's not a dirty word. It's a misunderstood word. But
Yeah.
we tend to have these different stories in our head, and we let ourselves get caught up in the emotion of money instead of
Mhm.
focusing on the logic of money. But of course, if money is 90% emotion, of course, like that's going to be driving how we behave with money. So we want to put that aside, and we want to focus on the logic. We want to focus on the process and the system. And if you
Mm.
trust the process and the system and you just do it, you'll be successful with money. um
Yeah.
and I'm just going to tell you, profit first takes 5 minutes every other week. um
What?
so it is truly a do it yourself cash management system, and it is so simple and but wildly transformative.
Interesting. So it's almost kind of figuring out, um, what's like the top level dashboard, right? Like what's the minimum that you need to be involved in to at least make sure things are going in the right direction. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily something that where I have to take on more accounting work and
Oh,
such,
right.
right?
Absolutely not. So the funny thing is, and I'm going to just speak honestly, I started my first business when I was 25 years old. It was an
Mhm.
advertising and marketing agency, and I really knew how to nail the advertising and marketing. But like the accounting, the finance, I just was like, okay, well, if I hire an in-house full-time bookkeeper and we're working with the best, largest CPA firm in town, I'm covered. They've got
Ye
it. They'll handle it.
Yeah.
If
Mhm.
something's wrong, they'll let me know. But, oh dear, no, that is not how it works. Because only the owner can own the financials of the business. And when I
Yeah.
talk about owning the financials of the business, I'm talking about what I talked about earlier, knowing the difference between spending and saving, and you have to have a clear picture. Now, you absolutely need to have accounting and bookkeeping in your business, and and you're doing that for compliance. But the thing about that is, most of us are getting our financials, the income statement, the balance sheet, usually around the 15th of the month, but it's financials for the prior month. So it is a rear view mirror
Yeah.
view of your business. And once your month has closed, that month is done. There's nothing you can do to go
Yeah.
back and change that month.
If you
And
lost
so
money or gain money, it is what it is.
it,
Yeah.
it's done. There's nothing you can do to change it. So what Profit First does, it actually puts you in the driver's seat in the here and now in terms of what's going on with the cash in your business.
Mm.
And that's why it's different. It's not your accounting and bookkeeping. You still have your accounting and bookkeeping, but Profit First gives you the view and the control of the cash in your business, and it is
Yeah.
super easy to manage. And I mean, I can dive right in and just go for it
Well,
and start explaining it.
yeah, what I wanna do though is kinda get people to sit in the why it's so important to even hear about this. And we kinda laughed. I kinda laughed about it, in regards to like, "Oh, not paying yourself is not a cool thing," but unfortunately, I mean, along with you sharing that 83% of businesses are, going check to check basically, right? The issue is that a lot of times when we're doing that, we may not actually be paying ourselves in that process even, right? Where
Oh, absolutely. Yes. The majority of yes, 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 yes,
you know
yes,
what I mean?
yes.
Like, even though, like, you're covering the bills, a lot
Right.
of times, like, covering the bills is paying yourself a really low amount. I mean, I
Or
have
yeah, or not paying yourself
at all.
consistently. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're exactly right. And you know what happens when that just behavior is repeated, you know, you start to get burned out. You start to not like your business. You're paying your employees and you're doing everything you can, blood, sweat, and tears going into the business to cover the payroll for your employees, but you're not paying yourself, or you're paying yourself a paltry amount. You'd be better off getting a job and having someone
Mhm.
else pay you consistently.
Yeah.
And you know, the ironic thing is that you're the MVP of your company. You're the most valuable person in your company. And so,
Yeah.
of course, you need to be paying yourself, because if you're not paying yourself, I mean, you have the stress of the business. Now you've got the stress of maybe not having enough money to take care of your family, put a roof over your head, put gas in the car, put food on the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
You know, and entrepreneurs, like you said, I mean, it, you know, they think, oh, it's a badge of honor. Like this is what entrepreneurs do. Yeah. The 83% who are going towards, you know, business failure are not paying
Right.
themselves. They're burying their head in the sand when it comes to their financials. And they're really clueless about what's going on from a cash management perspective in their business. And
Mhm.
it doesn't lead to good things. And you know, the funny thing too is that if you're in that kind of boat, you probably also like dread tax time. And, you know, when you have to make your
Mhm.
quarterly estimated tax payments, you're probably, you know, robbing Peter to pay Paul, or moving money from the right pocket to the left pocket, to cover those estimated tax payments. And, you know, that's another benefit of Profit First is you've got money allocated to pay taxes. So that's not a problem.
Yeah.
And so Profit First just is leveraging the behaviors, of a natural entrepreneur, and just creating a real simple process and system for them to be successful with the cash in their business.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's incredibly simple. And we'll get into it, and Danielle has actually taught some rocket fuel workshops for us to get like deeper into it. But it's just amazing how that 90% of our emotional feelings around money can really block us from just one, learning, but then actually implementing it. So this is why I wanted to spend the upfront time and saying, guys, if you are within your first 5 years in business and this is how you're rolling, like you're literally like you're going in the direction of being part of the 9 out of 10 that fail, right? It's you're just setting yourself up for failure. And if you don't fail within that time period, that's because you're going to be running a roller coaster business, right? Where you're like highly successful and then all of a sudden it's just like famine, right? And emotionally that is it's torture. Like it's not good for you, it's not good for your family, for your children, all of that. So this is why I'm doing all of the setup to say that it's really really important to stop and listen to what Profit First is about. We're not going to be able to teach you everything about it, but our mission here at Rocket Fuel is to inspire you into action. All right. So start telling us a little bit about the framework of what Profit First.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, you know, most businesses, 83%, 90% of businesses are operating with one business checking account. So all the money goes into one account, all the money comes out of the account. When
Mhm.
the money comes in, we look at our bank balance and say, "Oh, we've got money to spend," and we spend the money. Um, and the funny thing is that, you know, we've all heard the adage, you've got to make money to spend money. So we think we need to spend more money to make more money. And so
Mhm.
really we're spending it on operating expenses. And so that is sort of like, I mean, that's how your income statement or your profit and loss statement is set up. It says sales, the generally accepted accounting principle, the equation for profit is sales minus expenses equals profit. So, sales minus expenses. We tend to prioritize the first thing, which is expenses. So, that's
Yeah.
that whole adage of, oh, we've got to make money to spend money. We've got money in the business. We need to spend it to make more money. Like it's this magic thing that happens. And so the problem is then what's left is little to nothing. And that's your little to nothing profit. And in Profit
Mm.
First, what we do is we flip the equation and we say sales minus profit equals expenses. So by allocating money to profit first, you're going to be profitable. And then what's left is what you have to run the business off of. Because I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if I said, hey, can you run your business off of 95% of what you've been running it on? You'd be like, sure, I can figure it out. What's amazing is when we
Hmm.
take people through implementing Profit First, and we talked about, there's only two ways to increase profitability. Number one, increase margin, which means raising prices, and number two, decreasing expenses. So, that's what we're focusing on to help you increase your profitability. It's not selling more. Selling more is like exacerbating the problem. What you have
Right.
to do is you have to focus on increasing margin and decreasing expenses. And what's funny is I mean, imagine that Jabba the Hutt has had a, a free pass to your checking account because he's just been gobbling up the cash in your business and consuming that as, quote, operating expenses. And
Right.
we need to put Jabba the Hutt on a diet because he doesn't need to just have an all you can eat buffet pass to the cash in your business. And
Yeah.
so Profit First, what you're going to do is you're going to actually have 5 business checking accounts at your primary bank. So you're going to go from one
Whoa.
primary checking account to 5 business checking accounts at your primary bank. And you know what? This is going to make your banker's day when you go in and say, hey, I have this one account. I need to open up 4 more checking accounts. And it's going to make their day because they tend to get spiffed. They get a commission, they get a bonus when they open up additional accounts for existing account holders. So, the first step is opening up those bank accounts. And when you open up those bank accounts, you're going to label one of them income. So all the money is going to come into the business and it's going to go into your income account. Then you're going to label the other accounts profit, owner's pay, tax, and operating expenses. And then on your designated allocation day, so if you've read Profit First, the book says allocate on the 10th and 25th of the month. In my business, we pay our employees every other week. So we do our allocations bi-weekly on the Wednesday prior to a Friday payroll. And that is and so I just was like, oh my gosh, payroll's early this week.
I know, right? Exactly.
Sorry, I think we go recording
I
this
actually just thought about it. I was like, oh, this is why I'm supposed to approve payroll
today. Sorry.
today. Exactly.
So we're moving our allocation day just one day up this week only. It's the only week that happens. But so on your allocation day, what you're going to do is you're going to look at the balance in your income account, and then you're going to have predetermined percentages that a percentage is going to be allocated from income to profit. A percentage is going to be allocated from income to owner's pay. A percentage is going to be allocated from income to tax. And then the balance of the allocation is going to be moved from income to operating expenses. And now we can see in the operating expense account how much we have to spend. All right.
Hallelujah. Okay, wait. We have to stop there because it's kind of frustrating, right? It's frustrating when you look at it and like it's putting owner first. It's I mean, profit is for you as the owner.
Yeah.
Pay is for you. It's not just paying yourself out of profit. Like the
Right.
idea of like, oh, guess what? When the money comes in, immediately you put X percentage off for profit, X percentage off for yourself, and then that's operating expenses is like, duh. And why don't we do this from the beginning? It's so
Exactly.
frustrating.
But you can
Because
fix this now. now. You can fix this now. And
Yeah.
it's so funny. On the podcast, I really enjoy. We have special episodes where people come and share their profit first journey. And I think of Jess and Margie's episode when Jess confesses that she had read the book like 3 months prior and done nothing with it. And then Margie joined the business, and then they revisited Profit First, and she's like, "What? You knew about this 3 years ago and you didn't
And
do
you
it?" Because
haven't done anything.
once they implemented it, it completely transformed their business, their profitability. And again, like having cash in the bank to correlate to your profitability. I mean, like, that, I mean, let's be honest, we've got an economic downturn coming. We have a recession coming. All
Yeah.
indicators are there. You see the large public companies and corporations starting to reduce their expenses by reducing their employee count.
Mhm.
And I think back to COVID, and when COVID hit, my husband and I were like, we didn't take the PPP money. We didn't need it. I'm going to be honest. I look back in hindsight and go, well, maybe we should have taken the
Maybe we
free
should have
money,
taken it, right.
but we didn't take it because we
Yeah,
didn't need it, because
right.
we had cash in our business. We could bank on ourselves, and we would be fine. And we felt, there were other people, the 83% of businesses operating check to check, who were in more dire situation that
Right.
needed that cash. So we said no to that. But, to
Mhm.
have that confidence of, when you don't have control over the economy, over the government shutting down businesses,
Yeah,
or limiting operations, when you have your own pile of cash in your business, I mean, that's where you have security, comfort, peace, the ability to sleep, the ability to take care of your employees and your family. And
mm,
that to me has been the true power of Profit First, is just being in control and not being dependent upon getting a line of credit, or
mhm.
having to go to outside sources for cash, because we
For
have it in our
survival.
business. Yeah.
Right,
Mhm.
right. So I know, there's definitely more to this. We'll talk a little bit more, but I want to make sure that if anybody is kind of intrigued and you're going crazy taking notes already, Danielle did put together this amazing resource for us, and we enable our Rocketeers, our listeners, to actually text to receive this. So right now, if you're going, oh my gosh, this is totally me, or even if you're thinking about starting a business, you're in the beginning stage, then like text for this now, because if you could start like this, that's amazing. So what you're going to do is pull out your phone, please. If you're driving, pull over. If you're running, pull over and text RF for rocket fuel dash profit first. This is all one word, no spaces. RF dash PROFIT to 411321. It will ask you for your email address if you have never texted a catchword. Hopefully you have, but you're going to receive Pay Me Now, right? Which is this guide on the first steps on this path to permanent profitability, right? And Danielle, you did a wonderful job in really making it approachable, right? And you inserted an exercise for people to start doing to figure out, what do I need to get paid? What are these numbers for me, right? Like, what is the um when you get deeper, just thinking, well, what percentage should my profit be, which is my next question for you. But right now, I want to just make sure that if you are interested in this, don't lose out on this great resource. Text RF profit first to 411321 if you're in the US. If you are outside of the US, we don't forget you. You can use WhatsApp, and you can text to 1-909-741-1321 using WhatsApp, or text if you're in Canada to RF profit first. That's the message. So tell us a little bit, while people are texting here for this. How do I know what my percentage is for profit to?
Mhm.
allocate?
So we have a table of what we call target allocation percentages. And so it's based off of the real revenue of the business. And it's like 0 to 250,000, 250,000 to 500,000,
Okay.
500,000 to a million. So your allocation percentages, your target allocation percentages are going to vary based off of that table, but that those percentages were compiled based on a study of over 1,000 businesses that were profitable. And so it was
Mm.
really interesting to see, exactly what their percentages were based off of their real revenue number. But here's the catcher.
Uh,
You cannot, if you're an existing business, you cannot just all of a sudden start allocating based off the target allocation percentages out of the gate,
yeah.
because you're not there yet. You need to make incremental changes up or down 1, 2, 3%, to move from your current allocation percentages to your target allocation percentages.
Makes
So,
sense.
so we'll walk you through how to do an instant assessment to figure out what your current percentages are. I mean, let's be honest, most people are like, 99% operating expenses, 1% to profit, 0 to owner's
Yeah.
pay, and 0 to tax.
Right,
And
right, right.
that's not a problem. It does take, for an existing business, 6 to 8 quarters to move from their current allocation percentages to their target allocation percentages, but you can be on the path to permanent profitability as soon as you open up those banking accounts, which is
Right.
step number 1 in implementing profit first, because with every deposit to income, you're going to automatically allocate 1% to profit. All right. And
Mhm.
and the rest can go to operating expenses. So
It's like
you can
just
run your
seeing that.
business on 99% of what you've been running it on, and you can start getting that muscle, getting that rhythm of
Yes.
starting to allocate to profit by just allocating 1% out of the gate.
Yeah, it's like just seeing that little bit go off to the side and being like, "Oh, wait a second, it's a nest egg." It's like, you get your paycheck and you and you and you give your mom, "Mom, hold this for me." So,
Yeah, that's exactly
interesting.
that's yes,
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I
exactly.
can imagine it's a very difficult process when you're used to spending it all to, starting to put some away, but even that habit, I can imagine it makes a huge difference there. Oh my goodness. This is like it's a frustrating thing. Continue to use that term frustrating, in the sense that I wish I knew this when I started my business,
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
and yeah.
25 years ago, I wish.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about that part, because this is what I love about hearing this from you, because you experienced the other side. You experienced kind of just thinking, "Well, yeah, I'm not paying myself. That's kinda how it goes." So can you tell us a little bit more about that process?
Right. So I started my first business when I was 25, and about 4 years later, I met my husband, whatever, fiance at the time. We got married, and the business is going. It's been going for several years, and he looks at our bank account and he's like, "Well, what, where's the payroll?" And in our personal banking account, I was like, I'm an entrepreneur. We don't pay ourselves all the time, once we mingled our finances. And he looked at me like, "What do you mean?" And I was just like, "Well, yeah, you don't always
That's how it
pay yourself
goes,
when you're an entrepreneur. That's being an entrepreneur. That's how it goes. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
welcome to
the
the
badge
roller
of
coaster.
honor right here, the
Yeah.
badge of honor." Um, and so he's just like, "No, that can't happen." I mean, he grew up
Mhm.
in a union, in a blue collar family. Like, you always got your pay, and it was, expected. And like, I was like, "Oh dear, I need to get this figured out if I'm going to make it to the first anniversary of our marriage."
Yeah.
And so really, like, that was kind of the tipping point for me, in terms of the fact that I couldn't operate how most businesses operate if I wanted to stay married.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's when I started kind of like my journey into understanding and figuring things out. And a lot of things happened in between that time and such. But fast forward to 2017, and that's when I read Profit First, and I gave it to my husband because we had another business that was starting to do really, really well. It was at about $15 million. Um, and but we had disagreements because we were both involved in the business,
Uh-huh.
and we had disagreements on what to do with the cash. A lot of cost of goods in this business, which was different from our other service-based businesses and such, and sales tax, and just, like, so lots of cash, but not all the cash is ours anymore. And
Yeah.
so he read it, and it was like, okay, we're going to agree that, we're going to follow profit first. So it's not my opinion versus his opinion on how to do the cash. We decided to agree upon following
Mm.
Mike and his opinion with profit first as our cash management system. And really that transformed that business. I mean, we've 3x the revenue of that business over time, and it really is attributed to having the cash and having the cash in the business to bank on ourselves. I mean, at the
Mhm.
time we had a line of credit that we were struggling, honestly, to pay off in that business when we implemented profit first. And within a year of implementing profit first, we had that significant line of credit paid off. And again,
Mhm.
if we wouldn't have implemented profit first, I don't want to say that we'd still have, that line of credit, or would have converted to a traditional loan, but it just gave us that the power over the cash in our business.
Yeah. So tell me about that as people kind of listen coming out of COVID, and well, PPP is not as much of a deal because it was a grant. So then that
Right.
isn't debt, but maybe they took out an EIDL loan, maybe they took out other loans or lines of credit
Yeah.
to kind of get through it. So how can they think about profit first now when they have that debt? Does that
Right.
profit money go to debt, or how do you
Excellent.
handle that?
Exactly. So with profit first, the servicing of the debt, the monthly interest payments and principal payments come out of operating expenses like they normally do. But at the end of each quarter, you are going to take you're going to go to your profit account, your profit hold account at your inconvenient bank, and 99, if you have business debt,
Mhm.
99% of the balance in that profit hold account is going to go towards paying down the principal of that business debt. And then
Ah,
1% is going to be spent to celebrate. Maybe that celebration is a nice dinner. Maybe it's
McDonald's.
$9 fancy coffee from Starbucks with extra whip. I don't know. Um, but
But I
but
like that. You're
but that's
still
that's how you that's how you accumulate the cash. That's how you get ahead to pay off the principal of the debt, get rid of the debt. And
mm,
then after you don't have any business debt, when it comes time for your quarterly profit distribution, you're going to go look at the balance, take 50% out for yourself, go wild, buy a new car, go on vacation, do whatever you need to do with that money, and then you're going to keep the 50% in the business. We move that 50% into what we call a vault account. But there's a lot of advanced profit first strategies that I
gotcha,
don't
and
want to
that's
get
on
too
an
deep
annual
into.
basis? That's on an annual basis when you're like, you're
Quarterly,
closing.
quarterly.
Oh, on a quarterly
You're going to
basis.
take a profit distribution quarterly, because you're also going to go to your tax hold account, and you're going to take out the tax money you need to pay your estimated quarterly taxes. So
Gotcha,
that's a
gotcha.
quarterly. Yeah.
So the debt payment should be on a monthly?
So servicing your debt should be toward on the normal monthly schedule, but the money to service your debt, so paying the minimum monthly payment, comes out of operating expense because it's always been an operating
Right,
expense.
and that
Yeah.
extra chunk comes out quarterly
From profit.
from
From the profit
profits.
hold account. Yep,
From profit.
exactly.
Yay! All right, guys. So it's possible. I just wanted you to be able to see, because when you're trying to come out of a hole, the 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 discussion, can you tell? Like, I've been there, right? It just talking about profitability, talking about having space and freedom, all that stuff just feels like, I don't know, what did I get myself into? And you can get yourself out like incrementally. You can do it. And I love the fact that the system is approachable. There's so much more to learn. And this is why I recommend for folks to connect with you. But this is how you're going to do it. The first thing if this is inspiring to you, you're going to text for this resource, okay? Because this resource will give you something to do after this podcast interview. This is really important. You're going to text RF-Profit First to 411321. If you're in the US, outside of the US, you can use WhatsApp, and you could text to 1-909-741-1321. And the catchword or message is RF-Profit First. All one word, no spaces. Okay. Then when you do that, there's actually a link in there to book time with you, Danielle. And that was really, really important because there are a lot of questions that you might have because of your particular scenario. Can you talk a little bit about how your organization helps folks that are interested in Profit First, and like how you help them kind of kickstart a little bit?
Yeah. So it really is about, I mean, to be honest, like the podcast Profit First Nation has a wealth of knowledge and walks you through different steps and different phases of your business. But I think that the real secret is doing a reverse engineering on your business and creating a sales plan. So you actually know like what you need to sell at what price and how many. To meet that owner's pay target that you need to meet in order to cover your four walls, a roof over your head, clothing, transportation, food.
Yeah.
And so when we work together, we kind of map that out, reverse engineer that. I find that most businesses have arbitrary pricing. So the pricing is just, well, this sounds good. This sounds like what people would pay. This sounds like a price that I'm not going to get too much pushback on. And so we work through all of that. Cause again, that emotion, like, no, it's okay. If people reject your price because it's too high, they're just not your right customer, because you can't please everyone and you can't serve everyone. So let's, and I know that people who are listening to this podcast are like entrepreneurs who just want to give and give so much value and so much results oriented to their customers that, they should be charging 110%, 120, 130% of what their competition is charging, because you guys are doing a much better job, a superior job, getting better results. So you should be charging that perfect amount that gives you the margin to grow and build your business and serve those customers who are going to really value what you do, because they want to make that investment with you to get the return that they're looking for in solving their problem.
Absolutely. So I think it's extremely valuable when you want to make that transformation. I feel like reading a book itself it kind of gives you the concepts. So that's a good thing. I definitely recommend listening to the podcast because you do such a wonderful job of just breaking down all of these topics. But I do recommend to book a call with you. If this is, I don't get anything out of this, by the way, but if this is of interest to you, then definitely book a call with Danielle. Text RF-Profit First, get that wonderful resource. So now you have some work that you've done to kind of kickstart the conversation. Any final words to our audience?
Oh my goodness. Get your butt to the bank and open up those checking accounts. Step number one.
Yes, absolutely. Because this is essential to the sustainability of your company. You may not like talking about the numbers, but the numbers are what make you float or sink, right? And I love you guys. I know those that are listening either are doing really transformational, impactful work or desire to, and Profit First is one of the first things that you need to look into to make sure that you continue to do it as long as you want to. Thank you so much, Danielle, for sharing your amazing expertise. And I hope that you guys have a rockin' day. Bye now. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. Look, every one of our episodes is boosted by a value-packed keyword called a catchword. Yeah. This allows our audiences to text to receive even more value from our guests. So take advantage of that great value. And if you share your expertise by guesting on podcasts or TV or speaking in front of live or digital audiences, then you're leaving anonymous fans behind. So go get a catchword at catchwords.com, KETCH words.com, and use podcast20 as a promo code for 20% off your setup fee. Look, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the Rocket Fuel podcast so you never miss your jolt of rocket fuel. Until next time, adios.